All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Owarimonogatari, episode 9. Okay,
yeah.
So we were a little bit confused by the previous episode because of some wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey timeline things and forgetting certain details from previous arcs.
Yes.
But that has been cleared up to us. Yeah. Right. Shinobu and Araragi are separated because the darkness touched the shadow, which split them, at the end of the whole thing with Oni, which was definitely about Shinobu, not Hachikuji, who is gone.
And this is actually one day after her disappearance then.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Yeah.
Which explains why Araragi was there, and that it wasn't actually a long time, it was just that he was kind of grieving.
Yeah, just having some alone time.
Which totally makes sense. Absolutely makes sense.
Yep. And now we're in the situation where we're setting up the Gaen meeting.
Yep.
We're setting up the Gaen meeting. Yotsugi being here is probably because Gaen knows all and sent Yotsugi to be like, hey, help them out. This is going to be a little bit tough. But given that she knows everything... Right. Why did Yotsuki show up only just now?
Instead of saying like, hey, maybe don't, go there. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
I guess
maybe Yotsuki wanted to have a dramatic entrance. You never know.
That's true. That's true. Yotsuki could have been sitting out there just being like,
wait for it. Boom.
Okay, I think they need me right about now.
Yep.
Yay.
Totally safe fire escape. Boom.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is the next stage of things.
Yep.
We are kind of getting into this kind of new segment of the story and still figuring out where the overall direction will be going, given that the armor is definitely an homage to Shinobu and Shinobu's past, more specifically
her previous spawn, even minion.
Yes, exactly. And how that affects Araragi.
Right.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Shinobu Mail. Yes.
Yeah.
How you feel about that, Araragi?
Well... So maybe she wasn't sent by Gaen.
Yes.
Oh, definitely not.
No, of course not. Righto!
Cool.
Multiple questions. Yeah. What all this? Well, it's complicated. And
why it's complicated.
I don't know if I have necessarily all the answers. That was interesting. When they were showing going into that area, it looked like there was a blade. In the background there, in like a casing, and then it was splattered in like black or something.
And we know that at the end of this, Araragi will be a little bit wounded, tattered clothes and all that stuff, and show up back at the school with heart on the blade.
Yes.
Or well, no, that's Shinobu.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But it is interesting to think about that at that time, Araragi shows up by himself.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
not with Shinobu.
Well, yeah, not with anyone. Just
right.
Yeah. I mean, well,
basically,
Kambaru smashed it, but
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right, because this is around when episodes showed up.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Slightly. Only slightly.
It's more just that she's in no condition to...
Right. Yeah, I'm just being my normal zombie self, you know.
It's that, well, Kanbaru's unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
She can't agree while unconscious. Oh, that's right. She accepted you last episode, yeah.
So is this with regards to assembling the parts that happens way later during Sudoku Devil?
Maybe.
All right.
That is true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's the reason why he subconsciously kind of said that maybe he punched and shattered the armor, was he was trying to separate Suruga from the story.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my, Aragi, calm down. What? Huh. Oh my god. Okay.
Now,
Right.
Because this almost seems like it could have been something that Gaen planned.
Well, no, if you're aware of all things, then you just plan around all things.
Right.
So she doesn't have to be the one that instigates anything, actually. She just responds properly, you know? And thus he does not go home for a while.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Aw. All right. Oh.
Is he okay?
Wow. Amazing instincts. They're saying too much, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right, of course.
You got energy drained.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Wait.
Okay. No one will believe that I let you do this.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Wait a minute. This area is familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I recognize that one spot. Ah!
Limbering up for a proper run.
I need directions.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Oh, all right. No, it's not. Then it shows him in the reflection alone. But not. Yes, yes. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Jeez. Oh, of course. There you go.
So I can spot Senjigahara's old house from anywhere in the city. Oh, you can smell it out. Oh my god, these poses, these lines. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So we can't lose them if we never had them.
Nice. Wow.
That's fun, though. Of course. Dude. Back here? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
One of the things I was kind of wondering is if this is the day after Hachikuji, then in Owari fashion, is this really just all about Araragi, not necessarily Shinobu?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh. Okay.
Whoa. Oh. Jesus. Oh.
And it didn't heal.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, together with the cat?
Okay. Get wrecked. Yeah.
Wow.
Very well and good indeed. Ah, yes. But that skin serves as a great reminder. Yes.
For now.
Yes. Yeah. Fought an aberration with the cat, not fighting. Yeah.
Nothing major.
Wait, but if you're facing the monkey, like that's Kambaru. That's Suruga. Right.
Uh-huh.
Jesus, Kambaru, calm down.
So I decided to take a nap.
I've got time. Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Dang.
That looked crab-like.
That looked oh.
Huh.
That looked like some kind of chimera monstrosity, though.
Yeah. Huh.
Like its arms weren't even. It could be an amalgamation.
Maybe. Wait, what if by using the energy drain on Kanbaru, it absorbed...
changed form?
Yeah, and it took on... And that's why it was in monkey form or whatever.
There you go.
And if it's in crab form, then does that mean it got to Senjo?
Yeah, you're right. Then there's something there.
Although Senjo, like, got rid of the weight, so I would think that that whole situation is completely resolved for Senjo, but maybe not.
Right, but if it eats aberrations in general, it's not necessarily saying that it had to get that from Senjo. It could have got it from someone else.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Or just, if we...
Oh, what if it got it from Araragi?
Well, maybe. I think, if anything, the one part that, you know, is a little interesting is Shinobu's whole point about aberrations only exist because we give them basically the ability to exist by perceiving them and stuff, by kind of being humans.
Right.
So what human is this aberration connected to primarily, since it's existing pretty independently?
Okay.
All right, so we have our next episode here, Shinobu Male. Okay, we have actually bumped into Shinobu now.
Right.
And we have been set off on our mission to go meet up with Gaen. However, they've not bumped into her yet.
Yeah.
They have talked with her, which is good.
That is good.
But the fact that all of this is happening in this specific order and this specific kind of sequence here seems like we're very much headed on an aberration kind of hunter kind of focus here. We need to basically get Araragi put into a position where he can basically team up with specialists and kind of in some ways become a specialist himself and get rid of this thing.
Right. And this kind of aberration that we're dealing with is unlike ones that we've seen before, because it seems to be maybe taking on the form of a bunch of other aberrations, and that's kind of weird.
Well, it's worrisome, because if we just take the nature of that, the vampires, are the things that eat other aberrations. They're basically the ultimate, like, just like top apex
ultimate predators
for aberrations and stuff. But the fact that this probable suit of armor, which I'm guessing is the thing that then is the aberration itself,
right?
It is starting to acquire other bits and pieces here and there.
It almost
so I want to put out a theory here. Then the reason why it took on the suit of armor was because it already hit Shinobu.
Sure. Yeah.
And so when it energy drained her, it got the suit of armor, basically. That's the aspect of Shinobu's past and her kind of stuff going on there. Then it went and somehow got some essence of either a lobster or a crab or something, which is worrisome because of Senjugahara's Hitagi crab situation there. We don't know how direct to Senjugahara that was. But then the monkey arm potentially being the part that was not the crab arm in the shadow that we saw there.
And that would explain why Shinobu mentioned fighting the monkey when Kanbaru was not there.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting. Then
was Yotsuki also taken in a little bit because it was wearing a boot?
Yeah, it was wearing a boot. So here's a tinfoil hat theory. And let me know what you think of it, right? If this arc is about Araragi, it might involve, say, Shinobu or, people and stuff. But it's about Araragi in the same way that the first Owari half was. This is an amalgamation of basically how Araragi has taken on the burdens of everyone around him. And now this aberration is taking on the aberrations of everyone around him. And then it's becoming this amalgamation that he has to face. And that's his aberration.
Sure.
Sure. And that's why it's coming after him specifically. And it was talking about searching for its master, Hard Underblade, Shinobu, or Kiss Shot, rather, how it referred to her. But so maybe that's kind of what's going on here. And then potentially, hopefully, because I would hope that it hadn't actually gotten to Senjugahara, that when it energy drained Araragi, it took some of that from him because of how closely connected him and Senjugahara are, because of their relationship and everything.
Okay.
And that's kind of where that came from.
Potentially. I definitely see potential there. I like the idea thematically a lot. I think it's a really good one. I think the biggest thing with it specifically, though, is that there's no specific, I would say, stuff that we're getting in the immediate sense that it has gone after Senjugahara. That's the part that feels like either a mystery or something that would have
a red herring or something.
Or no, it'd have to be something that fits in a little bit with your idea of maybe it's more connected to Araragi's taking on of Senjugahara's problems and stuff because of their relationship, and not necessarily just because of their relationship, just because of how involved he was when he helped her out with the Hitagi crab situation. But yeah, it's quite freaky that if this is basically the darkness, then like why was it basically then did it get basically because it didn't seem to use energy drain when it went after basically it got Shinobu back then.
So maybe that's why.
Did it get energy drain and then now use that and rely on that because Shinobu was the first when they got there?
Maybe. I mean, because one of the things that I'm a bit curious about is that Shinobu's wounds didn't heal. Now, in this
scarring,
potentially, yeah. But you know, she's has some vampire in her, right? So scarring seems a bit odd, right?
Sure. Also, it would take a while to scar too.
Yes. So if this is something where the thing, like, you know, is it a copy or is it a steal, right? Is it something where then the abilities are being taken away from them, and that's, you know, like, which could be worrisome if they're about to throw down here, and how much abilities do they all actually have to fight it, right? Like, the whole idea that Gaen also isn't here, was it because she already faced an aberration, or because she knew that an aberration was coming, and she didn't want to be here for it? Because what happens if it drains knowing everything, right? Like,
that is,
you know, that could be an issue.
Right, assuming Gaen's thing is an aberration.
Drainable, or exactly.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, I think the biggest kind of thing we can focus on here specifically is that this is affecting Araragi. They got lost.
Yes.
They went the wrong way.
Yeah, and that was Hachikuji's whole thing.
Well, yeah, but why is that affecting him now?
Right. Is it just like, is it something where his grief for Hachikuji is making him feel lost and that's a separate aberration sort of thing? Or is it something where maybe the darkness somehow, like, I don't know.
No. I mean, like, because the Hachikuji thing just happened recently, is it a thing that's affecting him now because he's literally dealing with the aberration of the lost cow thing? The what did they call it?
I think they said lost cow.
Yeah. But was that not her aberration?
Hachikuji's? No, Hachikuji's was the snail. So.
Well, I know the snail thing there, but what was it actually called something snail, or was it actually the aberration itself? Because then where did lost cow come from? That's a completely separate thing. I would say no, that it has to be, because it's something with regards to being lost, and there's no other character in this show that's been lost other than Hachikuji.
Right, within the context and everything, that's what it seems to be implying. Yeah. Maybe it's just that it was forever ago, and that was actually something they mentioned in Hachikuji's original arc in Bake, and we just forgot or something. But
well, the point is he's lost. So he gets lost. Here now, but it's something that makes him have to call Gaen specifically to get directions,
and she doesn't. And
she doesn't really give directions. She says, "Listen to Kambaru. Listen to my sister's daughter."
Right.
There's importance there. Meaning that Kambaru is not actually necessarily here just to be the one that meets, Gaen. It's actually more because Gaen foresaw that Araragi wasn't going to be able to do all this by himself.
Sure.
And thus Kambaru needs to be there in order for this to go smoothly.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Tsuruga, Kambaru, I want to use Tsuruga a little bit more frequently nowadays, but that means in some ways the aberration wouldn't have gotten the monkey bit without Tsuruga being there.
Sure.
Which is something knows that.
Right. So maybe it's something where that was still worth doing, because maybe otherwise Shinobu, say, would have been gotten here, And like if
wait, what do you mean Shinobu would have been gotten?
Well, so this thing is coming here. Shinobu ends up here, right? For reasons, and butterfly effect, maybe it's a bit tough to track, but if, well, okay, also, yeah, Araragi would have been gotten alone by the aberration if he didn't call Kanbaru to meet him in the previous encounter, which would have been bad.
Yes, and then I think that's totally fine and all, but that feels like more of something where Gaen could have sent Yotsugi specifically to go there, but instead she basically ends up pushing things in a direction where Suruga is going to be there, ends up getting some parts of her absorbed through the energy drain. Right. So that seems like something that balances out to where Gaen is like, I actually like it better this way. Which it's also not a thing of where it's just the cost outweighs the gain, or the benefit outweighs the cost. It's a thing where I think we can presume a little bit of direct choice involvement. Gaen preferred this scenario over another scenario where Araragi is still fine. Yeah. And bumps into Shinobu probably also, but...
Well, and Shinobu is weak right now probably because, other than the fact that she got split from Araragi and everything...
Oh, yes.
Probably because... And I think, actually, her lack of regeneration might have been something that was established back in Oni when they got split. Okay. But maybe it would have... But maybe she might not have been quite as bad off if the thing hadn't been able to drain the monkey powers from Suruga, allowing it to fight Shinobu, Yotsugi, and the Black Hanekawa all at the same time, right?
But it would have been weaker because it wouldn't have had Suruga then.
Right, exactly. So then the fight probably would have gone a lot better for the others, right?
And that's what Gaen doesn't want.
Right, that's what it seems to be.
Right, so I'm saying that it feels like in some ways Gaen has...
is invested in it going, this way.
Well, invested in it going this way for sure, because it's going this way. In some ways, I would say that until we specifically see Gaen make a mistake, like specifically be like, oops, I didn't want it to go that way. Right. We can just assume that everything is just kind of going the way she would want it to. But specifically when there's ways where it's other ways that looked like it could have gone, it would have been just fine, potentially. It's either something that we don't know,
right?
Or it's something where Gaen weighed the two together.
Yep, and specifically wanted this
outcome. Yep. Which, Yeah. I just want to bring up the whole thing of the Suruga Devil thing because that's something that's so far in the future chronologically. The fact that someone was going around basically collecting, the parts and stuff like that to make the devil and stuff, the parts and stuff. Doesn't this kind of feel a little bit like something similar? Well, now thematically, not necessarily literal plot connections, so don't get on me for that. But
and one of the other, what we do know about Gaen as far as intentions is that she wanted to make Shinobu a god, right?
But that's not going to happen.
But it's not going to happen.
So she's not trying that anymore.
However. Well, we don't necessarily know that she's not trying it anymore because Shinobu and Araragi...
She's trying to make a god?
Well, right. She's trying to make a god. Shinobu and Araragi are separated right now.
Right.
And what we saw in Kabuki was that there was the possibility when one lost the other that the other would revert to the previous state that they were in, which might give Gaen another chance at making a god out of specifically Shinobu. So what if...
It didn't go anywhere near like that then, because the thing that they used, the thing that was ending, like the thing that made this whole thing happen, depowered Shinobu. It actually, if anything, has left her like this.
Right.
I don't think that really flies. I feel like Shinobu being separated in this case here, unless Araragi like literally dies, I don't see why she would, because we saw kind of what that world line was like when Shinobu raged and basically did that. She wasn't some protector for like, a shrine or something like that. She was a dark herald of the apocalypse.
Yep. Well, and what this makes me think here is that if Gaen isn't actually wanting something directly bad to happen as a result of them being here in weakened states, and then the thing coming after them
is a little
but is either that there's some growth that they need to go on a personal level, or it's something where she wants to put them in a desperate situation so that maybe they do something that they otherwise wouldn't have.
Sure, they're more malleable after this.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see that. But the end goal has to be something, I would say, that is something that benefits Gaen.
Right.
In some ways. Even if it's not something that's, I'm talking from a selfish angle, just something that benefits her overall goal, which is in some ways to keep this town, to keep this area secure. Like, she is kind of a Oshinomeme Machiavellian kind of version of that with just well, I mean, she knows everything, so she ends up probably just unfortunately by her own power and abilities pushing things in specific situations there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm kind of curious about with this is what is the angle as far as the character's specific growth? There's Araragi with coming to terms with the fact that Hachikuji's gone. That's something. There's the idea of Shinobu and Araragi being separated, and maybe there's some deeper personal level connection issue or whatever that needs to be addressed there, right? But that hasn't, I feel like that hasn't really been brought up yet. And then there's potentially the idea of Shinobu's past, if that needs to be brought up again, but maybe that's nothing, and that's just because the thing drained her first in Oni, right?
Sure. I would say then it's the aberration itself. The aberration itself is the key then to understanding what the growth is. And I would say the growth is primarily that there are things where you need to basically be willing, and this is maybe a theme with regards to the first 2 episodes here, there are things in which you kind of need to separate yourself from others and go on a little bit of a internal journey.
Yeah. Okay.
If you don't, because you're in a weak place, you will end up carrying and taking on the burdens of others that you weren't supposed to take on.
Yes.
So Araragi, in the situation where he's dealing with the fact that he's lost Hachikuji, then is thinking like, God, this is really rough.
Yep.
I'm going to go and isolate myself. Well, because he didn't tell really anyone what he was doing, or if he did, they're still worrying about him. You end up in situations where Kambaru runs over, freaks out, and makes up all kinds of jokes regarding the situation to kind of break the tension. Whereas one of the things that she put out as a reason as to why this could be bad, did she not? That was my... Well, I think she was saying that one of the main reasons, she said, no, that was her thing. One of the few reasons why you would call a girl out here like late at night to take their virginity or something.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, Kambaru. One of the few, meaning there are only a couple reasons.
But she had thought about
the other ones. She
counted them out, and
which means that she was not necessarily in a happy place about the idea of being called out here. She was worried.
Right. And one of the other things that I think might be relevant here is that if we look at what we've gotten in the 3rd season so far, right? Because Monogatari, while it's not linear in the fashion of like chronologically and everything, thematically, that's how things are based on how thematically relevant they are, and then that's where the order comes in, right? And with the 3rd season, at the very beginning, it was the whole idea of, we're worried about you, Araragi. You know, you don't really take time for yourself and all that stuff, and you need to let us in and see your problems and whatnot. You're not alone in this and everything, right?
Right.
And the fact that then we went from there to let's go back through Araragi's trauma, right, and address that. Now we're back to not quite the present, Yeah.
And we went back to a different time. This is a separate part of the story.
Right.
This is before the finale. We need to talk about this kind of thing.
Yep.
And what I think it is, in terms of a story structure thing, this is when you go on the last few side quest missions of an RPG before you go on to the final mission of the story, which has the big separate menus that keep popping up saying, are you sure you want to take the final mission? Because once you do this, you can't go back and do any companion missions or anything like that. So I think these are all those. They're all, of course, going to tie some way to Araragi, but not all of them, I would say, have to deal with Araragi's problems primarily.
Okay.
I would say that Araragi is definitely the primary one with the problems here in this section of things. But there's some stuff with Shinobu that we need to have brought up here.
Right. Because when, if I recall correctly, at the beginning of the 3rd season, when Araragi and Shinobu started to get separated, then it was because Araragi was becoming a vampire all on his own, not because of this whole thing with the darkness or whatever. So their bond needs to be patched before it can move forward.
Well, it depends on what patched means, though, right?
Right.
Like,
what literally and on emotionally and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because that could mean all kinds of things.
Yep.
Because their bond, if you will, is so complex, and not really complex in terms of like what it actually is, but what it means to each of them.
Yep.
That means that there's other things that don't necessarily have to do with whether the fact that one of them has a great amount of vampire power.
One of the things that I was kind of curious about with like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I got those t-shirts, but Hachikuji and Shinobu, both of them have a very unique connection to Araragi, and they both don't really have much connection to many other characters in the show. They have a connection to Araragi, and that's about it, right? And is that something where that could, and then that could potentially make it so that if the connection is damaged or severed or whatever, there would be maybe an imbalance in the valuation. This is more in the case of Shinobu and Araragi, of would Shinobu be able to exist on her own without Araragi at this point, right? And the fact that we see her here after the connection has been severed and Araragi sees her alone and hurt, right? And she mentions the whole thing of the, that footprint on your face, you know, like that small footprint on your face, like her territory had been marked by someone else, right?
Right.
And yeah, it's great fun. It's a good gag, but is there some part of it where Shinobu's basically saying, do I not belong in your life anymore? If Araragi's cutting everyone else out and going it alone, and Shinobu is like, not currently, but up till now, has been directly tied to Araragi. Our fates are intertwined. We will both die together, kind of a thing.
Well, it's the joke of, wow, we've been apart for this long, and you're already letting other girls step on you.
Yeah.
It's that kind of joke. That's yes. Basically it. And he's like, no one. You're the only one for me. Well, we already separated. You don't have to make it feel like we're together or not. And by the way, I said nothing about bare feet. Crap, you know. Yeah. It's that joke. It's a good one. But yeah, I think there's something there. I don't know necessarily about the Hachikuji Shinobu parallels, although I like them from the standpoint in that he's lost both of them, and they each fulfilled a role, I would say, that was a specific level of banter that was different because of the fact that they're both kind of aberrations. Right. Whereas all of the friends of Araragi more or less were connected to aberrations.
Right, but they weren't themselves in existence.
Weren't aberrations. Yeah. So Yotsugi, I think, is maybe the one exception to that.
Sure.
But
all three of the lollies, yeah.
I think that is exactly. That is one of the probably primary parallels that I definitely do see as well. Given that we're about to fight this thing.
Right.
Why wasn't it defeated?
I don't know. I mean,
where is
it ran off or?
Well, right, but.
Yeah, it's Shinobu said that Yotsuki blew one half out of its chest or whatever with the unlimited rulebook thing.
Right, which is the unlimited power with ridiculous exceptions.
Right. Rulebook of exceptions.
Yeah, rulebook of exceptions, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
It's hilarious. But Hanakawa encountered this thing and fought it?
Right. It's like...
So wait. Just the fact that this happened, though... You know, because there's the whole thing going on with the tiger concurrently here as well.
Yep.
Araragi doesn't know anything about that.
Now, granted, Shinobu and Black Hanakawa did seem to get along fairly well.
Well, you know, but just the fact that they fought this.
Right.
Yotsugi and Hanakawa are not here. Hanakawa, I mean, we know why she's not here. We've seen what her story is doing. But then we see things like the boot on this creature.
Right.
And there's a little thing of, you know, the very ridiculously like over the top, you know, Yotsugi stepping on Araragi part there
with the taking off of the
foot stuff going on there,
and then showing her foot as it's going into the shoe,
and then him like, you know, peering right into her nethers that don't exist there, and yet I wonder if the point of that was because that same foot was going to lose that boot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that when we saw that boot on the same left foot of a creature, of an aberration thing, we would go,
uh-oh.
We just had this thing shoved in our face for a little bit.
Right.
The reason for that was, yes, because it looks, you know, the way it looks, but then also, maybe something else here. So does Yotsugi show up a bit? No, Yotsugi of course shows up quite a lot after this. So did Yotsugi just lose a boot or something?
I don't know.
Or is a boot some aspect of her?
Symbolically, well, okay.
This thing is undead now.
No. Here's something. So, if it's generated from Araragi, right? Araragi, the aberration here, the crab, you know, all that stuff.
Oh, are we assuming that?
Well, okay. Just if it is.
Okay.
Yotsugi brought up here, since we're such good friends, and it's like, what? We weren't friends. It's like, well, we're friends now, and you know, I shall seal this with my foot, right?
Right.
Then it shows up with the foot or the shoe,
the boot,
the boot. Yeah. What if that wasn't necessarily something that was as a result of any combat or whatever, but because in Araragi's mind that connection is now there between like when he thinks of Yotsugi, he's now thinking, it's the you know, the one foot, right?
Interesting. Okay.
And then so maybe maybe that could be that connection there of how that's there. I don't know, because a boot wouldn't have, or a shoe wouldn't have anything actually to do with being a zombie if it was that whole energy drain thing. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like where we're going here. I am freaked out about some nightmarish amalgam of aberrations and nonsense. And then, I want to see this thing's face. Like, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there, and any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep. It's Battle Lines. It's my sci-fi novel. I wrote it. It's awesome. It's on Amazon. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.